snow on my rooftop now. It's so cold I can't go out. I've been alone many Christmases before. So will you keep me warm?
Thank you for joining us today in Move Forward TV. And I'm very excited to have JC with us and to talk about his life, to encourage everyone, and to inspire us with his story. Welcome, JC.
Thank you, sir. It's a privilege for me to be here.
Thank you for coming. And I know you have a very busy schedule, but thank you.
My pleasure.
All right, so JC, can you tell me who is JC as a son, as a father, and a husband?
JC as a son was, maybe I must just start like this and say,
Yes.
like naughty. You know?
Naughty.
I thought you wanted to know what it means. So it stands for Johannes Cornelius, because I'm actually, my language is actually, my mother tongue is Afrikaans. So yes, but growing up I had two sisters, just 1 year apart. After me, I was the eldest.
Really? Oh, that's okay.
And we were close, we were always a team together and lots of friends and whatever, and a happy family as a child,
Yes.
But I had a rebellious streak in me, I didn't always want to follow protocol, or like this. And from that age, 7 up until the age of 10, when I was 10, I was in rebellion against my father.
At age of 10 years old?
10.
All right.
I thought my father, I was ready to fight with my father, and I don't know why I thought my father is lying to me, So, a long story short, I started to dig into his study and things. I wanted to find something on him that is not true.
Yes.
Because he was such a perfectionist in my eye that everybody must know he doesn't make mistakes. That is the image I
He's
had.
very perfectionist.
Yeah, very. And I thought, well, don't you make any mistakes?
Yes.
Because I asked him questions. I don't know if it's good for this interview, but I would ask him, hey, were you ever drunk in your life? And his reaction was so strong.
Yeah.
What nonsense is this?
Yes.
I thought maybe he's hiding something from me. So that was me as a boy, rebelled, and then I really lost my way. I mean, I was then I got married, and but that was inside of me, and I can talk about, if I talk about a husband and a father, then I have two stories. I have before I met Jesus and after I met Jesus.
Yes.
So before I met Jesus, I was a fun guy. I used to love parties. My kids loved me, and everything was okay. But I was not a good man at all. I was not faithful to my families, but I was good to my kids and whatever. And
I want to ask JC, is this because I've read in your book that you've always wanted to spend time with your father and you always wanted to have this closeness with him.
yes.
Was this one of the reasons why, like growing up, you did not have that father image, or I don't know how you call it?
Absolutely. My biggest problem today, because today I can understand what happened there. My biggest problem was my dad was a closed book. And I couldn't understand me as his son.
Yes.
Why will he not open for me? Why can he not tell me in confidence, I was drunk once, or I had a girl, or something like this. This is the stuff I wanted to know. So I was hungry for that to my dad to be a friend, but he had to be a dad. Always, that was the main reason for my rebellion, was because he was such a closed book reserve. I thought he's hiding things from me.
Now you have your family, you have your kids. Do you think, have you had this model of fatherhood that definitely shouldn't be like the way how he has treated you before, or you want to be more close with your kids, or how's that?
I always said I never want to be like my father. I want to be my kids' friends. But you know what? It doesn't really work like that.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yes.
Yeah. Because this is your intention, right? But when the fire gets hot, or when the pressure comes on, I think in your genes there's a thing like what you got from your parents, somewhere inside of you. I found myself that I was also very strict.
Now, let's talk about you as a husband. Can you just share to us your relationship with your...
The current one now.
Yes,
We-
yes.
Yeah. No, we have a very good relationship.
Yes.
You know, we got married before we got saved, and we both got saved after marriage. Okay. So it's never too late, and everybody can always start again, because the nice thing about following Jesus, I believe, is because both people are looking at Him now and not looking at one another. So I'm not looking for the mistakes in my wife, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking who I can be for her. I'm trying to see her from Jesus' point of view, you know. So now it's very good. We've been married now 21 years, you know.
Wow.
So it's very nice. It's peaceful, because we feel like our relationship with Jesus in the middle is not on our shoulders. We are just part of a beautiful union with Jesus being the center of it. So it's not so heavy, and one can easily let things go, because it's not big, you know. But the little foxes, you have to address them.
Yes.
But like me and you, as you are my wife, I'm here, you are here, and we put the problem on that table there, and we say, well, let's me and you talk about that thing, not you and you and you like this, you know. And then we discuss that thing, and we see how we're going to let that thing go away. Yeah.
And let's move on to the next question, because you are currently, JC also currently is a pastor. He's a life coach, he's a pastor. Let's talk about pastoring a church. Have you seen yourself being like a pastor when you were a kid? Did you envision to be a pastor or leading a church?
Oh my goodness, no, not at all. Not in 1,000 years. If you asked me this question 4 years ago, I would say never. Never. I really felt like I was called to be a missionary or an evangelist, whichever one you want to call it. Because I used to love to be in the streets amongst people and tell them about Jesus and build relationships. I build easy relationships with people. You know, I like to talk, even if it's nonsense. But I like to talk, you know, and have fun, you know. Because we learn so much from one another, you know, by sharing, you know. And but I got a very clear call. I won't go into the details because it'll take long, but a very clear call from God through a pastor from Pakistan that God told me he wants to. And I fought for 1 week, crying, fighting with God, and I showing God in the Bible, and I say, you called me to be evangelist. You know that I will not be a pastor. And then I heard in my spirit, God said, because you are in your comfort zone, right? And He called me, He was calling me out. And then I surrendered, and then I said, okay, let me plant the church, you know. And it came with all its stuff, you know. I had to learn. I didn't study to do this, but I was just in obedience, you know. And now I'm really enjoying it. God is doing so much through the church, and having people like all of you and whoever more to come. And the church is like a family, and we are blessed to still see one another, you know.
What enters your mind every time you see these chairs after the service is finished? Like what comes to your mind?
I have no guarantee that anybody will come on a Friday.
Yes.
The only thing I do is I will send a message on a group and say the service will be at 10 o'clock. I don't invite personally. I don't have a membership list. You don't belong to a club or anything. We don't give prizes. You know what I'm saying? So when people come and the house is full and they all go, then I just say, Jesus, thank you, because this must be you, because it's definitely not me, and this must be what you want.
How do you handle all those negative stuffs that people say about you? They talk about you, especially when it comes to church.
There's no perfect church, right? You know, church members have got the same issues that people that doesn't go to church have. They don't think they are all super holy and whatever. We are all in this world, right?
Yes.
So the negative stuff is there. You will maybe feel in your spirit, but you know, I just decide to run to God and say, sort this out, because I don't have all the answers, you know. But after meditation, and then we get to, God takes me to an answer, to a truth. I would rather want to say, to some truth will come.
I think the world is right now wounded. What do you think is the greatest wound that the world is having right now?
I think there's two wounds actually. The church has just got a big wake-up call that we were fast asleep for a time. We were very religious.
Oh, yes, let's talk about that. We are very religious.
We were very religious. We were all good on Fridays, and we religiously went to church and maybe Bible study, singing choirs, playing bands, doing this thing. But this is not what God wanted. I think God wanted a church with a voice that will stand out and say, this is right and wrong, because God is one truth thing. So if it's not truth, it must be wrong. And I think that was not say. And the world, the biggest wound that the world has got is fear. They've been wounded by fear.
And how do you think we should heal it? How do you think we should fix all of this wound?
There's one word, is to love them. Is to love. To love. Unconditional. Not love because there's anything in for me, not love. Even if they throw you stones, you must just have a loving nature towards them. And it'll take time, I think.
I think I agree.
Not this fix,
yes, because now I think the world really needs love.
Absolutely.
And we become so isolated, and we all got separated. We were already before, but because of this pandemic, it made us more.
Sure.
And we were all broken. You mentioned earlier about fear. I have read in your book that there is only one rule. When you were in the military, you said there's only one rule. That is, there's no rule.
Yeah.
Yes. And you said you don't fear anyone, you don't fear anything. Can you explain and can you share about your story when you were a mercenary before as well?
Yeah, and even in the military, but maybe it wasn't so prominent in the military because there's some regulations there. There's like a free for all, and there is, what I mean by that is there's one rule that there's no rules. It's like, I don't know if you had a fight in school, is that you had an argument with a guy here, you will draw a line in the sand and say, step over here, then I can take you here.
Yes.
Then if a guy steps over, then you can go. So in the other game, in the real game, there's no line. You shoot as quickly or as organized as what you can. You shoot and you kill or you fight or whatever, and you fight with one reason. You lose and I win.
Were you fearless?
Yeah.
Don't fear anyone?
No.
I want to read this because I have read this also from your book. It says here that life is not always what meets the eye and can be very deceiving. Living a double life is more dangerous than fighting a war.
Yes. Yes. In the same breath that I said I had no fear, there is one thing, like I lived a double life. My wife believed that I was a faithful husband to her. Okay? Yeah. About all the other things she knew, but she didn't like it, but she, what can she do? It wasn't really affecting her so much, but it was sometimes embarrassing for her. Okay? But the double life that I live, I have to carry that by myself. She can't help to carry me because let's talk about unfaithfulness.
Yes.
Let's get to the point.
Unfaithfulness.
So if I've been with prostitutes or I have a girlfriend, I never believed in affairs, but maybe, buy a prostitute for a night or something, take away or whatever, for the night, then that, it's like hanging a small weight on you. And then tomorrow, up to a point there where your convictions is numb. You feel maybe a bit guilty, but it goes away.
You get used to
what you are doing. Okay, but you don't realize it's because it's slow. How heavy this jacket is, because every time you do this thing, you hang a weight on yourself. And this thing pulls you down. And now because you have this image of being fearless, you feel that I cannot carry this anymore. That thing is so dangerous. If you cannot find Jesus, you will have to kill yourself because that thing will become too heavy, but you will keep your image of being fearless.
That's true.
So you will kill yourself and people say, well, he was such a tough man, he just took his life.
Yes.
I know of many very fearless men who, as something happened, they lost their money and they killed themselves like this because that is the brave thing to do.
Yes.
But it's a very small deed with the eternal consequence. You cannot reverse this thing.
Sweet. Have you ever cried?
Weak man. I never cried until I got saved. Now I cry easy.
Now you become emotional?
Yeah, for sure.
But before, when you were living in that, as you said, double life, Nothing could make you cry.
No. So that's an absolute weakness. Then, yeah.
Yeah, because
Now my heart breaks for what's breaking your heart. That's why then I'm in your position now. I can be with you in compassion. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm not crying because I'm weak. I'm
Yes.
crying because I'm with you and we are like this now, Yeah.
You were also a pilot, yeah,
Yes,
and you were
yes.
doing this air shows and everything. Like, of course, you feel very proud of yourself.
Yes.
Like, can you say that you really reached the peak of your career?
Yes, but apart from the fact that we were always trained to use an airplane as a platform for weapons,
For weapons,
to
yes,
fight
yes,
with.
to fight, yeah.
But apart from war, that formation aerobatic flying was like the peak of flying, I think, for any pilot, not just for me. You have that feeling, but pride also comes with that,
Yes,
you think,
that's my thing.
I'm really...
How did pride kill you? Well, not physically, but emotionally and everything. Did it torture you that because you have this integrity of I'm tough and I'm proud? How did it make you weak at some point of your life?
It made me weak because I could never see another person's viewpoint. So it looks strong,
yes,
but I'm weak because I cannot go into I say, if I differ with you, I only know one way, and this now we're going to have to fight. I could not sit and reason properly because of my pride. I must be right and you must be wrong. And that is a real big weakness, And the day one gets saved and you see that all this was not because of your training or that you are a hotshot pilot or that you are really good or whatever it was just the grace of God. Then you break into pieces because you realize how stupid you were all the time, actually, And we must be proud of what we are doing, right? But in the same way, in thanksgiving that the Lord allowed it in your life. It's good to be proud and say, I've done a good job with this, I'm happy with this.
It's difficult to be in that
but not to get arrogant and not to get yourself better than others, not comparing.
So you were going upward. What were the things that you have lost because you've reached this high in your career? So definitely there are things that got compromised. And what are those?
You lose, your circle of people is only the people that makes the level where you are. So you kind of can look down on other people, and if you don't fly, then actually, I'll talk to you, but it's not going to be for long. You know what I'm saying? And so you lose a lot of people who look up to you and who can actually learn from you a lot of things, but you are prideful, and one day you don't have time for other stuff, you know what I'm saying?
You have written also a book called Through It All. Just give us a glimpse. Why have you decided to write a book?
I was told by so many people, if I tell some stories of the military, they say, why did you write a book? Why did you write a book? And I never really thought, I think they say this to everybody. Everybody has done something funny, must write a book. And I thought, I'll just do it. But then when I got saved, I actually felt like maybe I should write a book. Maybe my life can help somebody. So my book starts off with my testimony, so that I make sure God gets the glory, because it's really my life story. Then the book just expands really on my testimony of my life as a youngster, and then coming before, and then getting saved. And I actually write the book to my I will say, to a special bunch of men. The guy that started flying in the military with me, my course guys. You see here, 2 of 7. No, this is the wrong shirt. But 2 of 78 is our course. The second course of 1978 was our course. So I write the book to them really as a conversational thing, to tell them. And the book is not about preaching. There's a lot of fun and there's a lot of pictures in there. And I'll tell you a quick thing. I was delaying in the book, and one morning I was in bed still, and my phone made a noise, quick, like this, that a noise phones don't make, right? And I picked up the phone, and on the screen my screen was pink. There was nothing like this, and on white letters there was, these letters were there saying, finish your God-given task, write your book. And I got such a fright, I threw the telephone, it was flying there. And then I thought God was... No, I think it was... When I picked up the phone, the screen was black again. I don't know if God told me, hey...
yeah, it's
If it was, I don't know what happened that day, but I tell you what happened after that. I got up from that bed and I finished the book in 2 weeks because I got such a fright. I said, if this is God speaking, I think I must move now,
yes.
you know. And then I finished the book. I only wrote about, I don't know, 30, 35 pages in the last 2 years, and I finished the book in 2 weeks.
So it took you 2 weeks to finish.
Actually, but the whole book took me 2 weeks. But from the day I felt I'm going to start book was 2 years and something. Yeah.
As I went through the comments, so like others, thank you. They leave comments in the comment section, and they were saying that this book has blessed us so much. How do you feel every time you read these comments from the readers?
I am very grateful. It's done a lot for me because I saw the book wrong in the beginning. I thought I'm going to make, because I'm in full-time ministry, I don't work for a salary, you know.
Yes.
I thought I'll write a book and I will make an income of this book, you know. But when I started to read, a lady wrote me something and said, this book has changed my life. I'm going to stop drinking. And this one is going to stop this. Then I thought, God, but then I don't need money for this book. If this book can change lives, then I will just give the book. Right? So I feel extremely grateful that God prompted me to write the book.
Through it all, mercenary to missionary. So, and only by God's grace. Can you talk about God's grace?
Yes. The day I got saved, I realized that I had to do nothing, that this is free. This is free. And I don't deserve anything. I don't deserve the life that I've lived. I deserve hell. There is no, and you know,
as in hell,
as in real hell, as in fire. You know, the life I lived. It was not. But God's grace says you can give me that, and if you will, let me show you what I can do with that life. You know, and that really broke. Because I remember the day that I was watching actually a television program on the 7 churches by Pastor John Hagee. And he was talking about the lukewarm church, which was exactly me. I would be in the church, hallelujah, and then I move afterwards, you know. So, and then that spoke to me, and that day I realized I have to take a decision, you know. And I was very scared. First time in my life, I'm so scared. I'm sweating. I'm tearful. I want to cry. All the things that I don't do happens at the same second with me, you know. So then I realized if it wasn't for the grace of God, I had no chance. He can be merciful to me, but grace is so much more that He's giving me something that I don't even deserve. Except He just didn't cancel my judgment.
Yes.
He's now giving me stuff that He don't have to, you know. So that is what I mean by that. That grace is for me is extremely difficult to explain, and all I can say is stuff that I get, and I'm so blessed, and I'm not worthy of that blessing, but I am because Jesus made me worthy, but nothing out of my ability.
Yes, and we always hear the phrase "God is good all the time." Can you share me your thought about that?
God is good all the time, but we don't. I don't think so always.
Yes, because
No, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
When we look at life today, and if I look at families that's been maybe by the pandemic ripped apart, you know, people work their whole life to make a life's business and they lose it. But we just see the losing part. We don't see the life before or the life after. Okay, but if we know the promises of God, that God says this, even though you walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I will be with you. Then we must remember that in those days, and that by that reason we can say God. But God doesn't always feel good.
Yes, this is the thing. Sometimes you feel like not worshiping or praying at all.
Absolutely. Some days I don't feel like preaching.
Yes, and some days you don't love to sing worship or praise to God.
Absolutely.
Is this okay? Is it
I think it's very okay, because I think if I've seen what's happened on days where I was not so keen to say preach or to do something, that's really the day when something happened. And I think it's a reminder of God saying, it's actually me doing all this. It's not you that prepared so well. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's very okay. I think we must be so real, because a real person is a beautiful person, even if he walks on his hands. You know what I'm saying? A real person is beautiful because he's real.
So how important is it for the church to love anybody who comes into church?
I think it's the most important thing for the church. Because why will church be beautiful or one thing for anyone if they can't feel safe just the way they are? Jesus says, "Come to me just the way you are." You know.
Yes.
So, and if we have to imitate him, we must do exactly the same thing and say, "Come just the way you are." You know. And I'm not here to change you. I'm here to love you, because I think we must get if I say procedure right, I mean it is discipling onto salvation. We don't get people saved and then we start discipling them. No, we disciple them until they say, "I want Jesus," and then they accept him already, and then you walk with them. And after that, we will equip, and read Bible together. They will learn, and the Holy Spirit will be there already. But discipling us to walk with the drug addict and the drunk and the whatever and the lost one in any other way and whatever, the dirty and the whatever,
God loves anybody, regardless of our past.
Regardless, unconditional.
Unconditional love. So how come sometimes it's easy for us Christians to love those people? What do you think is the reason?
I think the reason is because the church became an institution for Christians.
JC, for example, if given a chance, like you'll see the younger version of JC, what would you tell him?
You're stupid. I see my younger version sometimes in my kids. How can you do that? Sometimes when you see some of you in your child, you say, "What?" And then you must realize it comes from me somewhere. No, but I don't want to sound like I have regret, okay? Because God used that now, okay? But I will always say to youngsters, please don't do why don't you just learn from my mistake? Then you don't have to make that mistake. Because I don't know when your last day is. I'm blessed to be 65. The life that I lived and I'm still alive.
Yes.
I'm just blessed. It's just by grace.
Yes.
But you can be 18 years old and I say, you're 18, you can still have fun. That's the worst advice I can give you. Because I don't know if 18 is your last year.
Yes. And you got saved at the age of?
50.
50 years old.
50 years old, yes. I was 50 when I got saved. I made so many stupid decisions because of rebellion.
Yes,
because I thought my father's a closed book. I could have chosen so many other things to do,
If ever, as I said, given a chance, would you, and given a chance to rewind everything in your life, would you still go through the same path, or you want to change some of it?
Everything is being used today for what God called me to do. Everything is being used, changed and used, made it useful.
3 words that best describe you.
Happy, redeemed, and peaceful.
Happy, redeemed, and peaceful. What advice can you give those people, maybe currently in the same situation, that they have broken past or there's unforgiveness, those that do not have fathers? So what best advice can you give to them?
I will say to them is speak about it. Never go silent. Make a relationship with somebody. You maybe have none, but make some. Make one with me. Phone me up. I don't have the answers, but I want to be your friend, right? And once you have a friend and you can talk, that friend has got a friend. And then tell your story, because I tell you something, you're going to realize there's somebody else. You are not the only one that's gone through this. Somebody else has got a success story with your problem.
Yes. And how about last, JC, those, I have read also so many comments also about suicidal.
Yeah.
Those maybe in the tip of they want to end their life because of all, as you said, fear of maybe grudge or whatever.
Yeah.
Can you just advise them or tell them something because you're almost there, right?
Yes, yes.
So, anything?
I would say to those people, I would say, suicide comes because we've lost all hope. So there's no way out.
Yes.
So you just, if I'm going to die anyway, I may as well do it now. That's just the hopelessness in short, right? I explained earlier on, I spoke about that stuff that you hang on yourself,
Yes,
those
that's
weights,
right.
and that jacket becomes so heavy that then there's no more hope. I want to say to people, please don't go there. That's not a solution.
Yes.
It's not a solution. There's people that stay behind, you know what I'm saying? But for you, it's not really a solution. And just speak about it. Just come out about that. Just make a friend. And there is hope out there. There is hope. Just, you know, if you see the video or you see something or you read the book, call the guy who wrote the book, or how can I find him, or go on YouTube and make a comment, and maybe somebody sees the comment and see your story, you know. And then, but my advice is, don't. Suicide is not a solution.
Also, there is God. Put their hope in God and also find the
Absolutely, yeah. If you on the
Professional.
spiritual side, you know,
yes, that's
it's,
true.
God is the life giver, and God will take it back to you, back to Him. So we can't take away what He has given. You know, our life is in His hands.
That's true. JC, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your story, and it's as I said, we're so blessed to have you.
I really enjoyed it. It was lovely. Thank you so much. It was
thank
a
you.
privilege.
Thank you, JC. Thank you, JC. As TD Jake says, every setback is a setup for a comeback. If you have not found your purpose in life, if you have not figured out your purpose, why not try to figure out your passion? Because your passion will lead you to your purpose. This is Marie. Thank you for joining me, reminding you that greater things are set if you continue to press on and move forward. God bless you all. Maraming salamat po.
Salamat po.
There's snow on my rooftop